1. Okay. So I live in a place where it is mostly upper middle to upper class, me being in neither of those categories. Of course, we are able to get by, but we are far, far, far from being loaded like some of the people are. Meaning there are many well-off people, such as teens driving around in very expensive cars, people carrying $300 Louis Vuitton card holders, or $3,000 Louis Vuitton handbags. Some people here have Black American Express cards, which is a card that, for even applying, you have to have a certain amount of money. Basically, you have to be super rich to have a Black Amex. And just everyone here doesn't seem to have any form of worrying whatsoever. At least the people I've encountered while working at Sonic. Of course, which is overpriced and not really good. Of course, there are rich people who think because they have a lot of money that they can treat me and my co-workers however they please. I have many stories of overprivileged teens and adults treating the restaurant as their personal playground, harassing customers, harassing workers, etc. But that's not what this story is about. This story is about the crazy entitled New Yorker mom that had a whole power trip on overpriced ice cream. Now, I have only read about entitled parents. Never before have I actually seen an entitled parent in its agitated state. Here is how everything went down. It's been a couple months since this all happened, but I can still remember a lot of what happened. It was late at night, and we were fairly busy considering it was the peak of the winter season, and we were rarely busy at all. While we were trying to get orders out, our system completely shut down, meaning we couldn't take any more orders, and we had to wait until the system rebooted. This stuff has happened before, so it wasn't anything new. My manager got on the phone with the GM. The GM just told her to wait for the system to come back on. We told all the customers that the system was down, and it would take a good 15 to 20 minutes to come back on, which is the normal time for it to reboot. Some customers got mad and left. Others who ordered before the shutdown got their food and left. Then along comes entitled mother, who tries to order ice cream, and can't because the system is down. She understands and leaves. No worries, the story isn't done yet. Then about 15 minutes later, the system comes back on, and we were able to start taking orders again. The entitled mother comes back and orders her a giant ice cream order, which was about $30 worth of ice cream. She then decides to walk into the back, which is an employee-only area, which we were all in, and here is how the whole conversation goes. Okay, so I was here 15 minutes ago with my husband, trying to order ice cream, and you guys said the system was down, so I left. And then I went to McDonald's, their ice cream machine was down. Surprised much, lady? So then I went to another restaurant, and their ice cream machine was down as well. I think you're all together on this, that after a certain time you guys are keeping customers from ordering their ice cream. She legit thought that all the fast food restaurants were actually in this sort of group thing, wherein after a certain time we all call each other up and tell each other to stop serving ice cream. I'm sorry, ma'am, but our system is down, says the manager. It's not that we can't make ice cream, but we couldn't take any orders. Well, after my whole ordeal, I'd imagine you'd give all this to me for free, right? You out of your mind, lady? She ordered 5 large ice creams, like 3 shakes and 2 blasts, which all came to about $30. We definitely aren't allowed to give those away for free. We weren't allowed to give any food away for free. I'm sorry, ma'am, but we aren't allowed to give ice cream away for free, especially when it's a big order. Well, you need to get one of your staff members to pay for it for me then, because I'm not paying. I wish I was making this up. First of all, they don't pay me enough to pay for anyone's crap. Especially a $30 ice cream order, so sorry. She then said what all Karens say, I want to speak to the manager. Well, I am the manager. I am the only manager here tonight. Oh dear, this wasn't enough, not for New Yorker Karen. She says the unthinkable. Well, when does the owner come into the store? Ma'am, the owner is never in the store. If he is, it's a rare occasion. She might have been referring to the branch manager or something. I honestly have no idea how that system works. Well, you better call him and get him down here, or give me his number and I'll call him myself. I'm sorry, but we're not allowed to give out the owner's personal information, even his phone number. Due to privacy reasons, of course, plus he has general managers to help deal with grievances. He doesn't want personal calls or anything.
Fine, then I'll talk to corporate myself. Plus, I want the person's name who took my order. I'm going to report them as well.
Now I was getting fed up with this lady, so I was just giving her a scathing look. The kind of, if you say anything to me, you are going through the front window kind of look. Karen looked at me and said this.
I know she wasn't the one, because she isn't afraid to look at me.
My coworker, who doesn't work at the restaurant anymore, turned around to grab something. Karen automatically responds.
She's the guilty one. She's afraid of looking at me. I want her name.
My coworker turns around, just looking at her, trying not to say anything. You could tell she was holding back what she really wanted to say. My manager finally gets her to pay, but Karen isn't done with the words just yet.
You know, I don't like to have my time wasted, because my time is money.
Yeah, so is mine. I'm literally getting paid for every minute and hour I work here. So thanks for wasting my time with your bullshit. My manager takes the money and goes to get the change. That's when Karen switches her gaze to me and my coworker.
Consider this a life lesson. You know, I've worked in fast food, and I understand that people don't want to work, but, you know, without customers, you wouldn't get a paycheck.
We know this. But when you get disrespected over and over things that aren't in your control, it kind of makes you give less of a fuck, honestly. Plus, in that one night alone, I've been filmed at the window, which is illegal because scheduled dates and times are out. I've been made fun of, I've had things snatched from my hands, and people give me the rudest attitudes ever. But I've had to tolerate it because I need the money. So yeah, take your life lesson and shove it. When Karen gets her change, this is what she says.
Never mess with a New Yorker, because we never give up.
Okay, I guess? She gets her ice cream and leaves, finally. All of us laugh our asses off after that, because we've never seen someone act the way she did. At the end of everything, she never went to corporate, she never complained, so I guess in the end, it didn't even matter. Linkin Park reference, yeah, not funny, I'm sorry. 2. So when I was in college, I worked at my school's theater as a seamstress. Another former grad and I decided to go to the homecoming, which had a play in the theater, scheduled after the game. So we decided to stay and say hi to those that were still there, as well as see the show. We had a long time to wait, so we decided to just chill in the lobby for a couple of hours, waiting till the play started. About 45 minutes before the box office opened, the entitled mother came in. Cast of characters is me, F is my theater friend, EM entitled mother, and B is my former boss and one of the faculty that runs the theater. Another note is that the EM has a super high-pitched voice. Think of a female version of Alvin from the Chipmunks. EM walks into the lobby and notices that the box office is obviously closed, then walks over to us just laying on the couches relaxing.
Excuse me, but when does the box office open?
F says, as the sign states, it does not open for another 45 minutes. If you're looking for information, we might be able to help. What do you need? We used to work for the theater when we were students.
I just need to get my tickets. I reserved over the phone, but the person refused to confirm whether I got the seats I wanted.
Well, sometimes reservations take a while to go into the system. So they probably had to wait and check that it was not already reserved, and the system just had not updated yet.
Well, I wanted those seats, and I better have gotten those seats.
I then say, well, due to the small size of our theater, all our seats have just as good a view. So even if you did not get those specific seats, they will still be just as good. The box office still is not open, so you can either wait or come back later to check and see. EM starts getting pretty heated at this.
Well, I can't wait. I need to see it now because I'm going to a restaurant now. And I do not want to lose out on my seats because they did not do their job right.
Well, we could maybe try and find B in the back. The box office is still not open, but maybe she can confirm your reservation. EM, pleased with this, agrees and waits with me in the lobby. B shows up and talks with the EM and decides to save herself the headache and goes back to grab the EM tickets. EM leaves and we all laugh at the situation, thinking it's over. We were very wrong. EM comes storming in maybe 15 minutes later, and box office is still closed.
These are not the seats I had asked for. Where's B? I want the tickets I had reserved.
I'm sorry, it might have just been a simple mistake. B is busy getting the show ready right now, and you can get it fixed when the box office opens.
Well, I can't wait for it to open. I still need to go to dinner. I wanted to get them early because I knew it would be full. If this continues, I will just come back and buy the tickets with the right seats.
Oh, here, says F. Let me see your tickets. I used to work house, and I can tell you where these will be. These seats are really good seats, almost up front and in the middle.
I don't want to be up front. That's not the seats I wanted. This needs to be fixed.
Well, box office is still not open, and people are getting everything ready for the performance, so you will just have to wait. EM gets even angrier, a groaning sound, and then stomps her feet like a child, then storms out. F decided to go find B again and warn her about what was coming down the line. B quickly went into the box office and found out she had just accidentally grabbed the name behind hers for tickets, and rushed out the door to see if she could catch the EM. EM was storming back right at that moment with her husband in tow, probably to try and use him to intimidate us into having different seats, despite the fact that we don't even work there. B meets up with them and in her amazingly passive-aggressive sarcastic tone says, "Here's your free tickets. We're so sorry for the inconvenience. It would have been much easier if the box office was actually open." For actors and staff, we get 2 tickets for free for each show, so this EM was putting up all this fuss over tickets she did not even pay for. EM is obviously not happy with her tone, but seems a bit put in her place. B brings us back inside and into her office where we all die laughing. She then gives us cake as an apology for having to deal with that when we were just trying to enjoy our visit. She then said that she would personally seat EM when she came back for the show. The best part of this whole experience was when we saw EM come in and sit down. Her reserved seats were all of 4 seats to the right of the mixed-up ones, in the same row. So her whole complaint about not wanting the front row was 1, incorrect in the first place, and 2, the exact row she wanted to be in. She was also almost late for the show and came in right before they closed the doors. 3. So I work in a hospital radiology department. We have ultrasound, X-ray, CT, MRI, nuclear machine, and interventional radiology here. Keep in mind I work at the front desk, so all I do is check in patients and give them their imaging, should they request it. I have no control over what goes on in the individual departments. I work Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays. Weekdays are usually busy, whereas Sundays are essentially graveyard shifts. Slow 12-hour shifts with occasional patients and check-ins. One Sunday, this lady comes in. I'm trying to be as helpful as I can because I was sure she was stressed out. Her child was a patient. She comes in and tells me that her child is having an exam, and that she was told she could go into the sterile exam room. I call WS, my weekend supervisor, to see if she can go back into the exam room with her child, and he says that she's going to have to wait because the exam room is sterile, and that it will be compromised if she comes in. I relay the message and let her know that she's welcome to stay in our waiting room and that I'll keep her updated. EM is not having this shit. She starts telling me about how this is ridiculous and starts belittling me about what do you know, OP, let me in the room, and the usual let me speak to the manager. I'm trying to stay calm because this is the first time I've been treated like this, not to mention the fact that I get stressed and panic very easily. I tell her that I can call the WS to see why she can't because, apparently, the last doctors at the other hospital let her. Call WS and he says that it will basically fuck up the exam, and when I tell EM, she proceeds to once again go into her rant. Apparently the phrase "don't kill the messenger" doesn't mean anything to her. She gives me this long story about her kid's medical history. I don't need to know that whatsoever. And she tells me that you need to do your job and let me in, and that I should report you to management. Then EM tells me that I need to call her kid's care team and social worker. Literally all she does is give me the social worker's name. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, Karen, let me pull the phone book out of my ass. I totally know who that guy is, even though we have 1,000+ employees, and I've never met the guy. I tell her that I won't call him because it isn't going to change anything. Ian proceeds to bully me and starts crying, and I would have offered her tissues if I weren't having a panic attack. Why I didn't hit the panic button or call security I may never know. I eventually call WS again and ask if she can come up here. Eventually, after 45 minutes of being verbally abused by this hellspawn of a human being, WS comes up to her, talks to her, Of course, she completely changes her tune when she comes up, and suddenly she's nice as hell. Eventually, EM leaves. WS asks me if I'm okay, and I tell him that I'm fine, and I thank him for helping me out. Fast forward to the following Tuesday. I'm working up front and finishing a check-in at around 8 or 9 a.m. Lo and behold, EM shows her face in the office again. See, my coworker is completely open, and the woman could have gone up to her, but this lunatic comes up to me and goes, "I know you." I'm sitting there dumbfounded and thinking, oh, the hell you didn't. She tells me that her kid is here for another exam and gives me the patient's name. I look in the appointments section of her software and guess what? The patient isn't even down here. No appointment listed. I tell her that her child isn't here for an appointment today, and she gets into it with me and starts this, "Well, that isn't accurate because etc." My other coworkers chime in and back me up, telling me that her spawn is not here for a procedure, and she goes off, stating that her daughter told her it was happening today and such. I stand up, go into the break room because I'm crying at this point. I was not going to deal with that during the day. Like, I was on a Twisted Sister level of not dealing with this today. Manager comes up to talk to her and backs all of us up, saying that there was no procedure scheduled. He comes to the break room and asks me what's up. I tell him about Sunday's events, all the while we can hear EM going on about, "You guys are awful. This is why we're transferring to another hospital. The other hospital would never treat us like this." Sorry, Karen. I don't care how important you think you are. We're stating straight facts over here, and if you don't get that, go ahead and transfer to that other hospital. God help them when you show your face. EM finally takes off back to the fiery depths, as she should. Fast forward again, this time to the year 2020. It's January, new year, new slate. We're going through our daily ritual. To our surprise, EM shows up again. This time she needs films mailed to another facility. She goes up to C instead of me this time. She's actually being nice this time. But C remembers her and starts being subtly mean to her. Enough to where it's noticeable, but not enough to the level of Satan's favorite demon standing in front of her. C kind of handles this exchange in a malicious compliance sort of way, and I don't dare make eye contact. After 30 minutes of this conversation of sorts, she leaves. She came back again a few weeks ago, this time with her husband. At least this time, she came when her kid was actually having a procedure. Look at you go, Karen, you did something right for once in your pathetic existence. 50 black as your soul cavity stars for you. They waited in the back for about an hour. Thank God she arrived when I was gone. C went up to me and told me that they were there, so I laid low for a while until I was sure they had left. Usually I wouldn't back down, but she knew how to hit people where it hurts, and I was thrown off guard by her rude and disgusting behavior. I'm hitting the panic button and having her escorted off the premises the next time. Me and my coworkers are on good terms, and we all know how mean she can be. Apparently other departments have had to put up with her, and I feel bad for anyone who has to experience that level of rude. 4. I'll just provide a little bit of context for this story. I live in New Zealand, and here it became illegal for businesses, supermarkets, dairies, stores, anything, to provide customers with single-use plastic bags on the 1st of July 2019. However, most supermarkets stopped providing plastic bags on the 1st of January 2019. Almost every Kiwi has their own collection of reusable bags that we bring to the supermarket to put our shopping in. They can range from 50-cent paper bags and $1 material bags, or they can be nicer straw-like ones that cost $3 to $6. This story. A few weeks ago, after I finished work, I went to the supermarket to do my shopping. Before I went into the store, I was in the car park sorting through my car's boot to find my reusable bags. Like many fellow Kiwis, I do have quite a few bags, but after I come home from doing the shopping, I bring them into the house. I forget to put them back into my car. I had 2 straw bags in my hand when I heard a woman's voice from behind me.
"Excuse me,"
she said. I turned around and saw a mum with 2 kids next to her. The mum did not seem like a regular Karen. No haircut, no attitude, sunny's condescending tone, nothing. I won't call her Karen, but she still belongs. So I'll just stick with EM. EM had a genuinely sweet tone, and her 2 kids seemed pretty well behaved. Hi, I replied.
"Sorry to bother you, dear, but I was wondering if I could use one of your bags. I forgot mine at home and I'm on a bit of a budget." It would help me out heaps.
Ah, yeah, that's all good, I replied. I look at my book to see what I have left. I had 2 straw ones in my hand and 2 material ones left, so I grabbed a material bag and gestured it to EM, saying, "Here you go."
Oh,
She said, still sounding very genuine.
I was hoping to get one of those bags in your hands.
At that moment, I can see the confusion. EM could only see the 2 bags that were in my hand when she approached me, and the bags were pretty cool looking. "Yeah, nah, sorry ma'am, I really like these bags, but..." I reach into the car and grab the second material bag. "You can have both of these, I don't use them."
Neither do I.
There was a bit of an awkward silence before she started again.
My kids really like those bags that you have.
And I like them too, which is why I want to keep them.
Well, do you have kids of your own?
I'm only 20, but I've always looked older than I am, so I didn't take any offense. "No, but I'm keeping these bags. I'm sorry, ma'am. But you can have the material bags."
I don't want those cheap bags.
Now she started to sound more Karen-like, and points to the bags in my hand.
Those are kiddie bags and my kids really want. I said I'm on a budget.
I'm on a budget too, so I'm keeping these bags. I'm all good with you keeping these material ones. I thought you said you forgot your bags, so you just need to use the material bags once, and then bring your own ones next time. "Fine," she said with a raised eyebrow. She snatched the material bags from me and said the most condescending "ta" I've ever said in my life. She leaves and I carry out my shopping. Once I'm done, I head to the checkout. I notice that there is a donation box for the Australian fires by the till. Kiwis and Aussies always have had a sibling-like relationship, and I also have some of my family living in Australia. I look in my purse and I take out the few $1 and $2 coins I had in there and dropped it into the donation box. I was almost done and ready to leave until...
On a budget, are we?
I heard a familiar voice. EM had just lined up behind me. "Bugger. Can I help you?" I ask.
So you can't spare me and my kids a few nice bags, but you can waste your money on that,
she says while pointing at the donation box.
Unbelievable.
"Sorry, ma'am. I didn't know that giving a stranger 2 reusable bags, then donating to charity was a bad thing."
You could have given us nicer bags, young lady.
"Or I could have given you no bags."
My kids really wanted those bags.
"They're mine, and you're not entitled to a stranger's possessions." By the time I finished my last sentence, I was done paying for all my shopping and started to leave. Blimmin' heck. I was knackered after work, and I just wanted to do my shopping without some EM having a wobbly over a damn bag. 5. This happened to me a couple of years back during the Frozen mania Disney had. I swear Disney is the land of entitled people. Anyway, this is my encounter with an entitled family, except for the son, who wanted to rip my coat off me. Now, I was at Magic Kingdom, and not to brag, but whenever I wore the coat I always got a lot of attention and compliments. I also found out that a lot of people were fans too. Anyway, I was looking through the shops in Fantasyland when all of a sudden I heard a high-pitched squeal. I did not pay any attention, as I thought it was a kid admiring a dress or something. When the next thing I know I saw somebody coming, I saw the shadow, so I turned to see this teenager about 17 in age walk over and grab my arm and yank it. I respond by jerking away, as I do not like to be touched like that. I'm kinda sensitive to touching. I do not like people touching me without warning. Like, you always have to ask me for a hug. This is due to my past with my mom. She used to yank me around and stuff. Always unexpected, hence why I get nervous, as I never know if that gesture will result in being hit or yanked around. While I jerk away, I accidentally knock a display down. As I bend down to pick up the display, she goes on and on about the coat, how beautiful it was. Asked me if it was the coat Hans used, how she is a fan, etc., etc. I answered that it was Hans's grey cape coat. She thought I bought it at Magic Kingdom. I had to explain over and over how the coat is not sold anymore and such. She did not believe me, and actually stopped an employee, yanking by the arm, and demanded to know where I got the coat. When confirmed what I said, she proceeded to try and sweet-talk me into giving her the coat. I refused, as it is my favorite and a collector's item. She then proceeded to throw a tantrum. Literally, it was the most bizarre thing I had ever seen. She literally threw herself at the ground screaming and wailing like a 3-year-old. I creeped out and quickly turned to leave. About 3 hours passed and I forget about it. Little did I know that the girl has been stalking me with her family. When I sat down to eat a turkey leg I bought, the next thing I know the girl comes over with her parents. The father and mother proceeded to tell me how dare I ruin their vacation and how dare I make their daughter upset. I of course am at a loss and freaking out, as it reminded me of, well, my mother. The son looked embarrassed and pleaded with them to leave me alone. They refused and tried to buy the coat off of me for $20. To me it was an insult, as the coat is worth 20 times or more than that if I were to sell it at an auction. I refused, and they continued with the old, "That's a kid's coat, you're an adult, you need to give it to my daughter as she needs it more than you." And, "Are you not ashamed of yourself for wearing kids' stuff?" Of course that was very hypocritical of them, as the father had Mickey Mouse ears on, and the mother wore a Princess Aurora tiara, the one little kids use. Of course I tried to leave, but the next thing I know the father grabs me and holds me down, while the mother and daughter try to take the coat off of me. I admit that I screamed and such. While this happens, the son reacts and punches his father, causing him to let go of me, and the kid and I run off as fast as possible, screaming bloody murder as the crazies chase us. Apparently we caused a scene, as security was called, and eventually we were taken to the back where we each gave our version of the story. Their version was that I stole their daughter's coat. Witnesses and security proved me right, and I was let go. I thanked the kid as he apologized and said that his parents and sister always do that. I handed him a $20 bill and an Avengers pin I had on me as a thank you before leaving. I'm not sure what happened after that, but I'm pretty sure they got banned. They did ask if I wanted to press charges, but I said no, as I felt sorry for the son, and it was clear that his vacation was ruined thanks to his family. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to the Impractical Proudness of Parents. iPop number 32. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use and sent in stories for use in this video. If you have a story yourself you'd like me to use, not just an entitled parent story of any kind of thing you might have, please do send it along to kingofthecities@gmail.com. And you can find that email, if you didn't catch that there, you can find it on the screen and also in the description. Just click Show More. If you're on mobile, if you go next to the title of the video, there'll be a little downward facing arrow. If you tap on that, that will then expand and show you the description, where you can find the email, Twitter account, the new merchandise store, and a few other links here and there as well. Also, timestamps for the stories, in case you want to jump about. Also, can I just say, I looked that code up in the story, and my goodness, yes, that was, the cheapest I saw it for was about $170. That's new and out of stock, so you can't get it anymore. So I'd imagine it would become a bit of a collector's item, so yeah, it could definitely go for at least $200. Wouldn't be surprised if it went for more. And it's a little odd that they were accusing that woman in the story of being an adult and wearing a kid's coat, when her 17-year-old daughter, who is, just not a kick in the bottom, that's a polite way to put it, not a kick in the bottom off being an adult herself, was apparently okay to wear it. Okay, enough grumbling from me, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.